Howdy everybody, and thank you for watching my video. Let's get straight to the start. In this video, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you exactly how to edit photographs taken of the Milky Way with an iPhone on the iPhone itself using the Edit app software available on the phone. So the first thing, make sure your image is raw. If you follow my tutorials, then your image of the Milky Way should be raw. You can edit JPEG images, but it's not gonna be the same. If you look on the top right corner, you're gonna see the edit button, which will allow us to edit the image straight from the photo app of the iPhone as mentioned. Pressing it, now we will open three tabs. We have the tab of the editing the photo itself. We have the tab where we can choose some kind of filters, and let's just get a little bit through this. There are different filters, but I'm telling you, none of them they're good for applying to photographs taken of the Milky Way with an iPhone. So, and the last one of course is the crop tab. Getting back to the first one, we have the auto first. You can press on the auto, which allow you to adjust the exposure, the luminosity, contrast and shadows automatically based on the image. But I'm going to be very honest with you, I don't like exactly how this auto function works, because it is a little bit off, and we will try to make sure eventually to manually adjust all the sliders one by one. The first one is the exposure. With all the photographs taken on the iPhone of Milky Way, the first thing I'm going to do is just increase a little bit of the exposure, because in the future we're gonna modify the other sliders a bit. That will induce a little bit more noise that we need to, but we are gonna take care of. If you press on the image itself, you're gonna see the difference between the original image and the new image. Next, we go to the brilliance. We are going as well to increase the brilliance a little bit more, because of the center of the Milky Way will look a bit more brighter. Just make sure that both the sliders and the other sliders as well, of course, you are not gonna overreact and just increase to the absolute maximum. It's like 25 to 30%, exactly like I'm doing now with the highlights. Basically every highlight point on the image, including the Milky Way itself and the stars, will be increased. Let's move now to the shadows. The shadows we are going to decrease a bit, because the other sliders we increase. Now we are going to decrease the shadow, giving a little bit more contour on the Milky Way. And not only, we have to remember that the shadow will actually decrease the shadow of all the objects which they didn't receive any light. Like you see on the top of the image, there are the trees, and we need just to have the silhouette of the trees, the shade of the trees. We don't need the trees themselves to have any kind of light on them. But of course, clicking the image will make the difference between the normal image, original image, and the modified image. The contrast is the next slider, which is very important, because will basically bring the entire contrast of the Milky Way. And always make sure you find a little bit of balance between the contrast and the shadows, because if one is too much, adjust the second one. If the other one is too much, adjust the first one. That's always what I do. And then you can, as you can see on this image, there's a huge massive difference between the original image and the modified image, with very little image noise increase. Okay, so the next slider is gonna be the brightness. Of course, it's gonna bring up or down the brightness of the whole image, something similar to the exposure, but will mostly focus only on the bright spots and not the dark spots. I rather prefer to play a little bit up and down with the brightness, but if you see that we decrease the brightness too much, then we induce a lot of noise on the image. So we will set the brightness a little bit more up. Alrighty, the next one is black point. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't find any kind of usefulness in the black point, setting the black point on Milky Way photographs. So keep it around 0. Now the saturation and vibrancy, basically increase the saturation a little bit, but vibrancy, which is gonna be the next slider, we are going to decrease. This will create some kind of coolish effect, because if you put it too much, as you can see, it's a little bit too off, but decreasing it will create a coolish effect, some kind of I don't know how to explain, but the warmth, let's make as well a little bit colder the image, and the tint, let's just keep it towards 0. You can go towards greenish side, more green, or to be more pinkish side. If you increase, it's gonna be more pink. If you decrease, it's gonna be more green. I'll leave it towards 0. Okay, now we have the sharpness. We don't really need to increase the sharpness of the image because it's quite sharp, but the definition will create a little bit more definition, similar to the contrast, to be honest, of the Milky Way. We are going to increase the definition. And now the noise reduction. Okay, the noise reduction is gonna be the bread and butter of the entire edit image, because everything we did until now, we induce a little bit of noise image, a little bit more, to be honest. For some reason with the app, sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not. If you increase the noise reduction a lot and decrease and increase and decrease, you don't see much difference on the image, but on the final image you can see this difference. But at this time we will increase a little bit more than a lot, usually 50, 60, 70% the noise reduction. Oh wait, that is actually the Andromeda Galaxy, that spot on the right down corner, nearly down corner. The vignetting will just increase or decrease the brightness in the corners, but at this time we are going to decrease the vignetting, which will increase the brightness in the corner. And now we're gonna go again to the contrast, brightness, and we're gonna play with them just a little bit, not big values, because we don't want to mess up everything we've done until now, but we need a little bit to micro adjust. Okay, and this is it. This is the final image, the difference between the original image and the final image, which we modified in this video of the Milky Way captured with an iPhone 13 Pro. And yes, that is Andromeda Galaxy once more, and the iPhone 13 Pro can capture the Andromeda Galaxy as a nice white spot on the night sky, alongside with the beauty of the Milky Way. Don't forget, you can actually inspect the image and see if there's anything else you can modify. You can go back to the sliders at any time. Now let's move on. I choose another image I've been taking last summer of the Milky Way, and I'm going to fast forward edit it, so using the same method to see if I can replicate the results more or less. And basically this is the final image. Just remember, everything has to be exactly the same values. You can play with those values more or less up and down to make sure you are getting the best results as possible. Every single image will have different values. Remember that. Not everything is gonna be the same. But remember, everything is edited on this program from the iPhone. If you try to actually move the image, copy the image somewhere else on the phone or external, for some reason, as you can see right at this point, the image is converted automatically to JPEG. Yes, I don't know if this is a setting from the iPhone or what is the reason this happens, but if you're trying to copy the raw image to the computer to be able to edit in Lightroom, well, you have a problem then. Okay, and this is it, and thank you very much for watching. Those are the two final images we've been edited today, and I hope to see you next time or around.